I've spent 3 years now reading and researching the enormous spike in young people around the world declaring a transgender identity. I devote sometimes many hours a day to research, reading, and activism. I've been able to recognise the evolution of gender ideology and its nebulous concept of gender identity, heavily promoted by mainstream media and social media as glamorous, brave, stunning, and cool. I have come into contact with so many parents like myself, all gravely concerned about the social contagion that our children have been swept up in and the scale of the harm that is being done by irreversible interventions like hormones and surgeries. I have read far too many heartbreaking stories of regret of young people with maimed and permanently disfigured bodies, bodies that they will never be able to return to how they were. The pattern is the same over and over again. Children and young adults who are mentally unwell, perhaps traumatised with histories of bullying or sexual assault, children who are most likely same-sex attracted, children who are on the autism spectrum, neurodiverse children, kids who are misfits or socially awkward. Trans suddenly gives them status and cred, and they become the centre of attention. It is hard to imagine any other medical condition with a serious life-altering treatment where the diagnosis is solely dependent on the reliability and accuracy of a child or young person's self-report. We were supposed to accept, unquestioning, the crazy notion that our female child became a boy overnight at age 17 and therefore needed to alter her body to match some invisible internal identity. It was, to us, an obvious mental health issue. Our daughter had serious mental health issues over that 3-year period prior to her self-diagnosis of transgender. There were serious red flags waving. Those issues, those red flags were all completely ignored by the medical profession. She has also had another 3 years of poor mental health since, because in their rush to affirm transgender to the complete dismissal of all of her comorbidities, the medical profession has failed to treat her appropriately. Parents understand social contagion among teens. We were teens once as well. Social contagions have always existed. What has changed is now the influence that comes from thousands upon thousands on social media and the misinformation on the internet. There was a cluster of girls in our daughter's drama group who declared that they were transgender. 3 young women, all in the same drama class, suddenly becoming transgender. Surely that alone should have raised red flags with any credible medical practitioner. Yet instead of seeing this social contagion for what it really is, the medical profession have lost sight of the Hippocratic Oath and have accepted the self-diagnosis of these young people. It beggars belief. We all know that puberty is an uncomfortable physical and emotional time for adolescents. Yet in order to reach maturity, we have to go through it. Puberty is not a disease, and nor is it optional. It's the only path to our adult selves. To stop this in children is inconceivable. To put a mentally unwell and traumatised teenager on opposite sex hormones is inconceivable. What has also upset me greatly is the role that I've discovered that government-funded organisations like ACON and TransHub in Australia are playing in the grooming of young people. These are organisations similar to Mermaids and Stonewall in the UK. I have found out that ACON have actively encouraged our daughter to undergo a double mastectomy and have given her advice that is, in my opinion, negligent. They told our daughter that top surgery is nothing like a double mastectomy for cancer and that she does not need her unsupportive family because they will help support her. We know that they have actively encouraged her to stay alienated from us. The negative narratives and victimhood that these organisations promote are harmful to the mental health of our children. They have a spiel that you can make your own chosen family and discard your true family. The true family who actually love you unconditionally, yet want to keep you from harm. As a mother, I read to my daughter every night for years. I took her to plays, to concerts, to musicals. On holidays, she played sport and took part in many cultural activities. Yet I have been labelled an abusive and unsupportive parent by medical practitioners who really don't even know me. Being a member of parent support groups, both in Australia and internationally, has been crucial to help me get through the grief, shock and horror of the last 3 years. Sadly, it has also opened my eyes to how widespread the harm is and how many families have been completely devastated and broken by gender ideology. Once you know what is actually happening, you can't unknow it. Yet mainstream media refuse to report on this scandal, and most politicians refuse to engage with it. We are truly in a war to save our children from harm. We need to stop the harm now. We are in the midst of an enormous medical scandal.